We may have already started it. Maybe we haven't started, but we're starting right now. Welcome, everybody, to the Vortex Nation podcast. Ryan's doing the countdown as I'm talking. This is unprecedented right now. We're talking about vests today, Ryan. We're talking about puffy vests today. I am an advocate. If you know me, it's just it's a lifestyle.
Really?
It's a way of life. It is one of the most versatile pieces of apparel kit you can carry with you from your day-to-day, like today I have one on right now, to your hunting, to whatever outdoor activity you do. If there's going to be even mildly cool weather, you need a vest.
Time out. When you say mildly cool, are you talking temperature, like cool, like I'm cool because I wear a vest?
Well, there's that too.
Okay. So
I'm not going to say that isn't, an X factor.
I want to also preface something. Two things. I ran out of time because I procrastinated. When I saw this on the calendar invite, I almost thought it was a little bit of a joke. So I didn't jump at the opportunity. And then I realized later in the week, last week, that this is very real. We're doing this.
We're doing it live.
My plan was to go on Amazon or some marketplace and find like a comically puffy vest. Like I'm talking so much fill, it didn't even make sense. Like, do you remember the Seinfeld episode where Costanza comes in and that is what I wanted. But I
wish you would have found it. You probably would have gotten it as like a spoof and then been like, this thing is luxurious.
The second thing I want to preface is I walked into the room ahead of you. Not that that's a bad thing, but I saw these vests on the table and I said,
I put those there earlier today.
to MC Ryan, I'm like, he did homework. And they're like laid out. This is the most professional looking podcast setting we've had in a long time.
This is a topic that is close to my heart.
Very evidently.
It fits right over your heart, right here.
And I'm going to preface a third thing. Years ago, Boardman, when I was
We've talked about this. I think I know where you're going.
When I was a junior member here.
Oh, my gosh. Whatever.
And
you've always been senior.
I walk in, and Mark's like, what do you hunt mule deer in? And I was like, duck camo. And he's like, you're a fool. Get this. And he gives me a list of all these great things. And I didn't know anything about anything at the time.
By the way, this conversation is fabricated.
No, it's not. I'm going through the list of things that you're instructing me to procure. And on that list was something of, and you know how I felt about it at the time. It was a puffy jacket. Mm-hmm. And for foolish reasons, I was against this item because
I think there was here's what I will agree with, probably maybe even more so at the time. Like there was a stigma maybe attached to it. You're, quotation mark granola, whatever that means,
And reluctantly, I end up with one of these things. And to tip my hat to Boardman, every day that I can, I wear a puffy coat.
But so this is probably the 10th time we've talked about this exact story on the podcast.
Yeah.
And you want to know why it keeps coming up? Because of the profound impact the puffy jacket had on your life.
It did. And the validity cannot be overstated.
The puffy vest is just another layer of puffy impact on your life.
I'm still struggling with this because when I see somebody wearing it, the only thing that I can think of is a scene from Monty Python's In Search of the Holy Grail when the fight with the Dark Knight comes out and they cut his arms off and he's like, "'Tis but a scratch." It just seems like we're missing something, Mark, and that thing is sleeves and a hood.
That's the whole point. That's what makes it so great. What's quotation mark missing? Because it's missing intentionally. Okay? You got to get this through your head, right? When you're trying to stay warm, one of the most important things you can keep warm is your core. If you keep your core warm, then your body won't pull blood from your extremities. Therefore, your hands stay warm by default. Now, with that, look at me right now. If you're watching on YouTube, Do you see the freedom of movement that I have right now?
Have you been practicing those?
No, that was off the cuff. Wow. That was off the cuff of not having cuffs on this vest here. The freedom of movement is so incredible. So then when you do layer, maybe you do put a jacket over the top, you're not getting that bunching in your sleeves, right?
Okay.
Now, am I by any stretch of the imagination saying that you shouldn't have a puffy jacket with you as well? Now, depending on the weather, oh boy, this is purely hypothetical because I'm really not going to suggest that you don't take a puffy jacket. But maybe you just know that, like, you're just so confident in the weather that, like, maybe a puffy jacket's overkill. The vest might be that sweet spot, and then you're saving a little bit of space and weight. So,
how much do 2 sleeves and a hood weigh?
Not very much. That's the other beautiful thing about a puffy vest, though, that it weighs nothing. So you're really not at a disadvantage at all by bringing it with along with your puffy that has the hood.
I don't know, man.
Okay. This is going to make your puffy jacket that you do have even more, it's going to increase its capability, right? Because you don't necessarily, you're gaining the insulation quality of having like a really big, heavy, puffy jacket by adding this underneath, right? You're getting even more insulation on your core. But then, again, you got your puffy jacket on. You're not like, doubling up in the sleeve area, so you're not getting, any sort of restriction, if you put your soft shell or maybe a rain jacket over the top or...
I get it.
Which I've actually been running with, like a thicker rain jacket, like in place of a soft shell lately.
Because that is another understated piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Rain jackets make the best wind shells.
Yeah, dude, it's just such a good insulation piece. It's active insulation, too. Should we talk about that? Well, what were you going to say? And then I'm going to get into active insulation.
Good. I'm going to need you to unpack that for me a little bit because maybe my preconceived notions of what is active or inactive is misguided. Tell me this, Mark. I have my opinion on it. Real down or synthetic?
So we've got a couple options here. So the one I have on is down. The Stone Glacier one, been wearing this one a lot lately. It's down. A couple synthetics here. If you made me pick, I'm probably going with the down version.
My man. Okay, good, because that confirms some things.
But I've worn both of these ones, and they do a really nice job too. The face fabric on these, it's probably a little bit more durable.
Yep.
On these two synthetics, got a Sitka and a First Light here, and and they're all a little bit different weight too. So
sure.
you can kind of cater it, I guess, to your puffy vest needs. Some are more puffy, some are less puffy, right? It depends on your appetite for puff.
I'm gonna tell you what I ran into. I had two garments, insulative layers, one down, one synthetic, from the same company. Mm-hmm. The two of them were categorized as equals with respect to places in which you would use them, temperatures in which you would run them. And so on one day, and we had same temperatures, brutally cold. And on one day, I ran the down, and this was a jacket,
right,
under a shell, like the real down. And then on the other, I ran the synthetic. On one day, I was very comfortable. On the other, I was rather uncomfortable. So I am, in this context, gunning for the real down.
Going off of
sample size of 1.
Well, and I would say going off of a study of just wearing at different times, high quality down versus synthetics. I feel like the warmth to weight ratio of down does beat the synthetic. I mean, you look at a goose, man.
Yeah, they seem warm most of the time.
Yeah.
I
mean, they sit on the ice and they're like, what?
Fine. There's fine. I saw some geese this weekend on the ice. You know what else I saw? I saw some black ducks, which was cool.
No kidding, huh?
Yep. And then I saw some bald eagles preparing to hopefully maybe eat one of those goose and or ducks.
When I duck hunted 2 years ago, the Fowl Life boys came to town. Mm-hmm. And we were actually goose hunting, but I think they had 2 or 3 spinners out. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure we killed a goose, but the duck shoot was phenomenal, and there was a black duck in the mix.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
I derailed you. Tell me about vests. Sell me a vest.
Isn't that another type of duck? What's a rail? It's a water bird, isn't it?
It is. That's more closely related to like sandhill cranes than.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like a shorebird?
Well, now I got to look up. Is a rail and a coot, are they in the same?
I think that's might be what it is. Or is a coot a rail? Is that what you're saying?
You know, Mark, I'm using the internet to tell me.
Now
but
we've
while
done
you're telling me.
So while you're looking for that, I'm going to talk about active insulation, because I think oftentimes when we think of insulation, we're not talking about moving or being active.
Sure.
But again, I feel like that's where the vest comes into play on days where you actually might want a little bit of insulation, but you are going to be moving around. And it gives you the leeway and flexibility of not having to be like on and off, on and off, on and off.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Like if you're like, oh, let's go hike over there. It's like puffy jacket off, put it away, get there, sit for a few minutes. Oh, I'm getting cold, puffy jacket on. Like I feel like the vest can be like that layer where you just kind of.
It's in betwixt.
It's in betwixt. And as far as like just the perfect amount of warmth, when you're talking about when it's just becoming fall, maybe late spring. I mean, a vest and a long sleever, a vest and a t-shirt, good to go. You go inside, you go outside, you're just kind of always set.
Yep.
Have I talked you into it yet?
Well, kind of. You know, I'm running through scenarios in my head in which, you know, I get into a spot, I'm like, boy, it's gonna take the edge off a little bit, and then I got to dig through my guide lid, and I got to pull out a insulative layer, and then I have to take off a shell, and I have to put it on, and I got to put the shell back on because I'm like laying in sagebrush or curly mountain mahogany or something goofy like that. So I want to rip it to shreds. And then maybe it was too warm, so maybe I could go with something that's got a little more durable face on it, like these two items here, more so this one. And then I think to myself, you know, maybe, you know, it's a cold weather hunt, but I need the insulation, but I need to be a little active, like deep snow hunting for whitetails late in the season, which, by the way, I think I'm going to be doing more of next year. I got a special rifle. Talk about that later.
Oh, the one you were showing me? Yeah.
So maybe the vest does have a place. Rick was wearing a vest when we were out chasing whitetails the other day.
Yeah.
And I was a sweaty mess. He looked a little bit more comfortable than I was. So I had to take apparel off, stash it. Rick just had a vest on. He looked a little more comfortable than I did. I went from too hot to too cold. It's poor planning. It got a little Western anyway.
Was it poor planning, or did you just not have the right equipment?
I just didn't have the right equipment. And
Which would have been?
Could have been a vest.
Look at this. Oh, I don't really want to have a jacket on, but I've got these great hand pockets.
Good point.
All these have nice little hand pockets.
They seem to.
You know, and also when I think about most of the getting around in the woods and the places that I hunt, it's not actually that often that I'm really busting brush.
No.
And I guess that could even go for a puffy jacket too. You know,
that's
like
what we got
probably one of
into.
the worst places is here in Wisconsin.
That's what we got into. We got into the raspberry, the blackberry, the honeysuckle, the multiflora rose. We got into it.
Yeah, I mean that can tear durable gear to shreds.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've got a couple soft shell vests. Now we're just kind of on vests in general, but they're heavier. I do like the durability of the fabric, you know, if you are going to get in a little bit gnarlier stuff. And they don't pack down as good.
Do you use them more of like a wind shearing material?
So, yes.
Okay.
But then I feel like these are just intrinsically warmer, so they kind of like balance out depending on the degree of the wind.
Sure.
But could balance out that component. I haven't done the science to like really measure that in any real capacity.
The thing that I'm thinking of, like trying to sell myself on one of these garments is, you know, when you pack into a place, you get your pack on, get your bino harness up front. You get there and you're like, I'm going to dismount my pack because I'm going to be here for a period of time. My bino harness is going to hang out because we don't ever take that off. You dismount your pack and the temperature is nice, but the wind is just a little there, and you got that sweat line on your back where your pack was. You get that little chill there. Like, ooh, that's uncomfortable, and you're not quite totally satiated with like the temperature of things in your garment choice. So then you have to overlayer, and then your sweat doesn't really leave you. You just get a little warmer. This is where I'm thinking the vest right over the back would help.
It could be just right. Pull that sweatshirt off.
Which one of these do I put on?
We'll get you this one here. It's nice. So this is if you're not watching.
I can wear your clothes.
Yeah, put this on. So now you're wearing a t-shirt. Now it's not cold in here, right?
Oh, it's cold outside.
But I want you to just like put that on and then instantly feel
cooler. Wow. Mark, I don't know what to think about this. It feels like I put something on, but not on my arms.
Yeah. But you could wear that. You could go outside and be like, I'm okay. And it's cold out today.
There's something in the pocket.
What is it? Always be prepared. I'm like a squirrel with that stuff.
Oh, I gotta say,
you might put that vest on someday and be like if you went hunting, you're like, oh, I forgot paper, and then you'd be so glad that you squirreled that away in your pocket.
This is a very different feeling, and I'm not even just trying to. This is not theatrics. It's a very different feeling.
From like
my chest, my abdomen, and my back are instantly warmer, but my arms are not, and I feel.
But I would say for the temperature that we're in right now,
no,
you're
I'm not
thermoregulating.
I'm not mad about it. It's just very different. I had an anticipation of what I would feel when I put the garment on, and that anticipation was not merged with reality. I feel like I'm in water. It's the best way I can describe it. I know it sounds goofy.
Because it's like you're being born again.
It's very different.
Here's what I'll say. Or here's another thing I'll say, because I think I've said that like 4 different times just on this one podcast. I may not be the best hunter, the fastest hunter, the toughest hunter, but I do like to be comfortable. And I think the puffy vest is key for that.
This is something else.
I think you're just, if it's really cold at night,
you
can put that underneath your puffy jacket, and then you're in your sleeping bag. Then you're triple puff.
I could see sleeping in this in the bag. So I like to sleep in cold stuff. That'd be a welcomed addition. You talked about the bunching earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one thing I hate is I'm getting layers on and off and on and off. I always have a wristwatch on. Like stuff gets snagged on there, and
depending too, it's like you could be like, oh, I'm sleeping and I'm tucked into my bag, and like, oh, maybe you're getting a little warm. You just flop an arm out.
Yep, good point. This is different. This is different. I'm not hating it. This would be the first one of these I've ever worn. How do I look? Do I look like you?
I think better.
No, Mark.
Well, always, but then you put the vest on and it's even extra. I'd like to know, because I feel like the puffy vest gets like a bad rap for some reason, and I don't know why. I mean, frankly, yeah, you want to look outdoorsy, slap one of these on. Go downtown, get some coffee.
Yep. Maybe
that's what you don't like about it.
I think it's not that I don't like anything about it. I didn't get it. I didn't get the regular puffy too, Mark. That was a long time ago, and you steered me the right direction. I don't hate it. I'm feeling a certain way right now. Still don't know what to deal with.
Tingly?
Nah, it's just a little different. It's like I said, I'm warm in the right spots, but cool in other places. And it wasn't what I was expecting.
It's perfection. I think that's all I had to say about puffy vests today.
Do they make them with hoods?
Out of ammo. Yeah, but then you've got your puffy jacket for the hood, so you don't need to double up the hood.
I get it.
And I'll wear multiple hoods, because like I would wear probably underneath that, I would wear like a merino hoodie.
Yep.
Like that That Stone Glacier Chinook merino hoodie. Heck, we launched a podcast today on gear, and I included that. But so I would have that, and then maybe that on, and then my puffy jacket with a hood, and then my outer, whatever my outer shell is, would probably likely have a hood too. So that's 3 hoods. I don't need a 4th hood. I don't mind 3 hoods, by the way.
No, I don't either. Especially when it's real cold.
Yeah, it keeps your neck warm.
Yep.
Well, hopefully the next time we hunt together, I see you in a puffy vest.
Maybe.
And if you don't have one, you can borrow one of mine.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Thanks, Mark.
We'll get you indoctrinated.
It's different. Like I said, I'm not mad about it. It's just an unusual feeling. I feel very free over here.
That's the point.
But I feel comforted here.
Yes.
That's different.
I don't know why being what you're describing is comfort, and yet you're acting like it's making you uncomfortable.
It's just different. It's just different. I'm not upset about it. Like I said, I don't hate it. I don't understand it.
You just need to. I think you just need to digest what.
It's like olives. I hated olives when
happening.
I was a kid. Now, full disclosure, I haven't gone back to trying olives. It would be like if I ate an olive now and suddenly I wasn't repulsed by it. I wouldn't know how to feel. I would ask myself, there'd be a lot of internalization going on. What was changed?
You need time for some reflection.
Did I change? Did olives change? Was I just ignorant?
I love olives.
Ugh.
Greek olives, black olives, green olives.
Red jacket, green jacket.
I like to put
No, it's gold jacket, green jacket.
olives in my old fashioned on a Friday night.
Never had one.
They're pretty special. All right. Well, there we go. That was my best.
10 minutes.
That was my best puffy vest pitch. That's the best I can do. So I would be curious. I'd like to hear the thoughts of folks listening. Are you running a puffy vest? Do you love the puffy vest? Do you think they're stupid?
Don't look at me like
Let
that.
us know.
Everything that I've said about them being stupid has been in jest. Just because. I don't got much on you, Boardman, but you wear a vest a lot, so I'm going to exploit that.
I don't, there's nothing to exploit. I'm right. All right. Let us know, everybody. What's your puffy vest stance? And until then, happy hunting and shooting. Stay warm out there. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.